you. Thanks so much for tuning into Applegate's EDGEcast powered by Exit Zero Communications. Today, we want to turn on your thinking about ways to use events to maximize profit in your lives or business. We'll examine forensic deep dives and explore behind the curtains to learn tools and techniques and see what's inside the art and science of profitable and productive event management. The fun part for me is I'll be joined by my friends who I've met at events along the way. The goal is to interview cool, smart business and creative people who are experts in their field. The hope for those of you who invest your time in Exit Zero moving forward is that you'll use what you've learned to create your own business first or next event success story. And this way, we'll be able to jam it forward. So there are a couple rules with the show that I want to share. It's designed as a conversation among friends. Today I'll be alone because today is a learning show, but otherwise I'll be joined by a guest again who's an expert in their field, and we'll be sharing not only their expertise but fun stories about things that we learned while producing events over time. So yeah, each episode might last anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. And the goal is to edit as little as possible. So, once we get going, there might be some major bloopers that'll be edited out, but for the most part, it'll run in and air as or in whole. Yeah. So guests must agree to not take themselves too seriously and to make it kind of raw at times, because when you're really providing good service when it comes to event management and production, it can break people down. It gets emotional, it can be exhausting and also exhilarating. When we deliver the promise that we've made to our clients, there's nothing like standing in the back of the room and seeing the project that you've been hired to produce come to fruition and do what it's supposed to do and create that profit, whatever profit it might be in the lives or business of your clients. All topics will be explored through my personal success filter or process called Applegate's Edge, in which case we will energize your vision and intentionally design profitable strategies to grow and elevate your business and personal lives. Each week, the episode will be available at businesseventpro.com. And of course, all episodes will be available at YouTube at Applegate's Edge. So hit subscribe on that channel for us as well. So you may know I've been consulting with businesses over the years, done all kinds of work, served all kinds of industries, whether it be through video production, through advertising agency, through SEO link building, through consulting, etc. But I realized I have so much knowledge that I want to share that I'm now super happy because I'm going to be teaching what I've learned about business consulting and profitable event management by doing it the hard way, by doing it over the last 35 years. So you'll learn behind the scenes tools and strategies for making your event fun, effective, on target, and on budget. The goal is not to only utilize, but also to teach proven and emerging tools and techniques for creating events that grow membership or increase sales, provide product education, celebrate employees, members, or be profitable in some other way. What are your goals? Are you thinking about virtual? Well, let's talk, because we can share and expose your event or project to more people and might even be more profitable for you. So in the words of William Wordsworth, to begin, begin. And in my words today, let's get the learning started. So I mentioned that, it's all about tools and techniques, right? And so I think one of the first things I'd like to do is make sure we're all on the same page in terms of vocabulary. It's super important when it comes to industry knowledge, and making sure that when you are talking to a client, that you're on the same page, that you're talking the same language, because we always know words are important. So some basic terms. The art of profitable and productive event management. I talk about the art and science, right? So art to me on the event palette is an event, even the right strategy. These are artful sorts of thinking, if you will. Branding and visuals. What does the product look like? Meaning, what do the customers see when they're going to your website or when they're picking up your flyer, et cetera. We'll talk more about those as time goes on, some of those independent definitions. In terms of art, profitable and productive event management, crafting the message. What is the content? What are you trying to say? What are the words that you're going to use? Who are you going to say them to? Those are, to me, examples of the art side of event production. The science side is, and of course, some of these overlap as well as we move forward, but the science of profitable and productive event management starts with one thing that I can never repeat enough, and that's data, data, data. You don't have anyone to sell to if you don't have a list. You will not be successful in selling to them, to your potential customer, if your list isn't valid. I probably have a list of maybe 10,000 people that I will communicate with that I have actually done business with over the years. Literally over 10,000 people or businesses. And they're not all of my right fit clients. Absolutely not. A very small percentage of them actually are. So, when you're talking about data, you got to think about the wide end of the funnel, because the wide end of the funnel is what gets you to the narrow end of the funnel. And that is a relationship with your client or customer. Who is your customer? Where do they work? Where do they live? What is their income? What will you change, or what will they change once you've provided a particular service? Again, all sorts of metrics, if you will, and components. There's social science there, there's psychology there, there's lots of different measurable inputs or outputs that you can create while developing your event. And part of that is the analytics. So, starting from, is the event and even the right strategy for what I'm trying to accomplish in terms of reaching a profit goal? And again, profit could be growing membership, or it could be generating income. It could be increased sales. It could be product awareness. It could be employee buy-in. It could be stakeholder understanding. All of those things are, to me, considered profit. But if you don't know where you began, how can you know when you're a success at the end if you're not measuring as you go along your different stages of project and event development? Another part of the analytics is, social media, for example. There is so much rich content on the back end of social media pages that we're not even aware of. And that's where the marketers really can help the pros, because they know what the algorithms that change on the back end. They can advise on that. They can offer strategies that will help overcome what they see maybe coming down the pike. I am not that person. I have hired people to do that for me on my projects. And that's part of building a solid team. I'm here to help you, again, learn those individual tools that are going to, or understand the whole process, and then pinpoint the individual tools that you might need help with along the way. But yeah, so again, going back to some other definitions, because the show is about learning. So when you talk about a mission, a company mission or a project mission even, the definition for me is a mission statement is a brief description of a company's fundamental purpose and answers the question, why do we exist? The mission statement articulates the company's purpose, both for those in the organization and for the public. So why do we exist? What is our company about? What do we want to offer? What do we want to accomplish in this particular project? How will we serve? What will we change in the marketplace? Those are the kinds of questions that your mission statement will help you pinpoint as you move forward, or will help direct your company as you have different opportunities that are available to you. And as you're determining, are those opportunities, do they really align with, who is your company? Can you maximize the return for your customer, et cetera? Then there's the vision. So the vision statement is sometimes called the picture of your company in the future, but it really is so much more than that. Again, your vision is, or your vision statement is your framework. It's your strategic planning and answers the questions, where do we go now? Where do we want to go from here? Here we are now, where do we want to go? Or how do we want to get there? What are you doing when creating a vision statement is articulating your dreams and hopes for the business. It reminds you of what you are trying to build. Marketing. So when you hear people talk about marketing all the time these days, a marketing person could be anyone who is, in today's world anyway, a marketing person can be anyone who is doing social media buying and selling, or creating websites. It could be interpreted as advertising agency work, where you have a full service ad package or design package and then media plan, and like the traditional advertising world was 10 years ago. Marketing can be, today, when you look at job descriptions, salespeople are considered marketing people. So I find it interesting that the word has been used in different ways over the years, but the bottom line is that trading in a market, buying or selling, and the entire process of storing, shipping, advertising, selling, etc., which promotes and actualizes a sales transaction, that's marketing. It's the process by which customers' needs are anticipated and identified, and ways are found of meeting those needs at a price that consumers are prepared to pay, and which allows the business to make profit. So there's the noun marketing, and then there's the verb of to market, right? Using those tools in your toolbox for telling your story. Then there's advertising. The attraction of public attention to a product or service, especially by means of paid announcements, broadcast or printed material. The business concerned with planning, writing, designing, and scheduling advertising. So advertising. Again, I've worked for an advertising agency. In that particular case, we were considered a traditional advertising agency, full service, meaning a client would come to us and ask us to solve a problem for them. And the problem might be, and often was, how do we sell more product, right? So in the case of, for example, Wells Fargo Bank, who was a client that I represented, a problem might be, gosh, we need to, now that deregulation has taken place, and this was a few years ago now, but when deregulation took place, Wells Fargo, a bank, had the opportunity to start selling securities. Well, the bank, we had Indiana, Ohio region, and they came to us and they said, hey, how do we go about doing this? What is the messaging, et cetera? So we put together a campaign, and ultimately I had to negotiate between the client and what they wanted to say to the market, and the agency creatives and what they felt should be said to the market. And then with the SEC, and they were concerned about what was being said to the market. So because this was a first campaign for a bank to offer investment services as opposed to just banking services. Well, that was a huge deal. Ultimately, the campaign launched. It was super successful, and it included everything from the classics: TV, radio, outdoor, branded promotional items, etc. And it was a hugely successful campaign. And I believe it was considered and ultimately rolled out perhaps nationally with Wells Fargo. So that was super exciting to take part in that. But again, it all started with the concept of the word advertising. We had to let people know about the new service that the bank was offering, right? So I mentioned it before, but promotion is also a key part of that. So promotion is the advancement or elevation in rank, the act of promoting, the state of being raised in status, the active encouragement of sales by means of advertising. So advertising is the attracting of public attention to a product, service, etc. The promotion is the advancement or promoting the active encouragement or sales through the means of advertising. Subtle but important. Public relations, it's our actions taken by individual, group, or institution to promote favorable public opinion, or the art or technique used to promote such favorable opinion. I do a lot of public relations work over the years, or I do and have over the years. Anything from working with the media to ensure that they have the right information to get to a product or a project, to an event, to going and being an expert on a television, news channel. Public relations can be writing the press release. I mean, the very basics are writing the press release, right? Writing the communication that you want to then advertise out or promote out to your potential customer base. So then we get to things like the brand, and the brand is such an interesting animal. A lot of times people think the brand is a logo, and that is absolutely not the case. For example, when you think of the Golden Arches, that is a logo, which is an icon. The icon then represents the brand, which is a collection of perceptions in the mind of the consumer. Stakeholders, stockholders, and others who have direct or indirect interest in actions or decisions regarding your business or product, service, etc. The brand is a concept that's publicly distinguished from other products, or it distinguishes your products from others, I should say. And so that ultimately your message can be easily communicated and is usually marketed that way to help you stand out from your competitors. Other examples of brand work, if you will, are, everybody knows the Nike swoosh, right? So it started out with Nike, and they spent years and years talking about Nike and the lifestyle of the Nike wearer, and the attributes of the Nike wearer, et cetera, et cetera. Eventually, they started just using their logo, the swoosh. Now it's only the logo. But when you see the Nike logo, you know that it stands for quality. You know it stands for athletics. You know it stands for just do it, right? Doing something. Get off the couch and do something. It's a community. It's a lifestyle. Other examples of really good brand work, Volkswagen, right? Tesla is another. I mean, it's emerging as a roaring leader in the brand economy, because these folks really understand when they built their brand that having a relationship with the client is so important. It's not just a one-way conversation. It is feedback. It's listening to the customer. It's reiterating your vision, your mission, your goals, to make sure that you are meeting the demand of the market. And again, I love branding. I did hire my own brand consultant when sort of re-envisioning Exit Zero, version 2, if you will. And I laugh because I do suck as a client. It's hard. It's hard work. It's hard to determine what you want people to think about you and figure out how you're going to get there, right? But the bottom line is that it is so important, and that's where everything starts from, because that's your authentic place, is your brand, really. It's your beginning. And then you move to identifying the brand through your logo and identity package. So again, you've got the Golden Arches, you've got the Nike swoosh, you've got the VW icon. I mean, those, and I mean, we could talk more and more about those. I mean, when you see certain icons like Jaguar, Cadillac, Gucci. You see these logos, you know that they are super high-end luxury brands. When you think of McDonald's, you think of it's not super high-end, but it's going to be consistent. You're going to get the same product from store to store as you move across the United States. So they have committed to their brand promise. But again, they're identifying it through their logo and their identity package. Other elements of an identity package might be your letterhead. Of course, it's a little bit more old school, but, today's world every business doesn't need letterhead today. But again, whether it's your letterhead, even your fax return paperwork, the logo on your pens, what items are you giving away? And we'll talk a little bit more about promotional items here coming up. But in terms of identity package, again, talked about just the logo itself, talked about letterhead. How does that tie into your website? How does that tie into your social media pages? Do they all look consistent? Are they all stating the same sorts of words? Are they all in the same colors? Is it the same logo? Over the years, I have not been consistent in my logo, and I'm still working on that. Frankly, I didn't do a lot of marketing in the past because I didn't need to, but the world changed, and now I'm going to be selling. So, I'm putting together my own brand package with a team. Super important. And it helps me go back to remembering who I am, who I want to serve, and how I want to do it. That's from the brand and the logo and the identity package. So then moving on, you got to think about research. Is there a need for what you're offering? How do you know? Who's the customer? What will you provide them? At what price points are they willing to buy? Can they buy it now? Or is it something that you need to wait for that income to be generated? How will you find them? What do your competitors offer? What do they charge? All of those questions, research, those are questions that often are leading into your discovery, your customer discovery process. And so, whether you're a company who's already got all of these elements already established, or you're wanting to just streamline or plan around one project, program, event, whatever, all of these things come into play, right? All of them, whether you're creating an event or a series of videos, or even this podcast, all of them should look similar. They should have the same sort of voice. They should be talking to the same sort of person, etc. And that comes from the research. And in fact, I'm actually a little late getting my own podcast out this week because I have been added to, I'm so excited. I was accepted into University of Louisville's Launch It Business Incubator program, or business boot camp. And I'm excited because I get to share some of the stuff that I've learned there as well. And boy, we're doing a lot of deep dive work into customer development and sort of reframing the old model of how companies started, which was, I've got an idea, I'm going to hire all these people and I'm going to go out and sell it, to I'm not going to do anything until I hear what my potential customer wants me to share with them, or whatever product I might offer, et cetera. And some really big aha moments have come. And as I continue to learn them, I will continue to share them with you. Now we get to the content. What is content when it comes to the advertising or events or communication worlds? Well, it's the message. It's the most important thing that we have, right? What do you want to say? How will you say it? Will it be with text only? Will it be with images? Will it be with video? Last week, we talked with Darren Harrison on the EDGEcast, a director, producer, actor, et cetera. And we talked a lot about using video as a tool for conveying a message. And it could be, a short little 30-second clip, or it could be a 20-minute video. It doesn't really matter. It depends on what you're trying to convey, what you're trying to leave the user with once they've shared or experienced your message. And again, we've had the opportunity to do everything from 30-second commercials to, long form videos to interactive work, multimedia work with testing online, etc. But that all of those decisions about, how you're going to convey your message starts with what is the message. Today you hear a lot about content marketing. And that is providing your customers, instead of selling, like today, I hope I'm not selling, I'm here to teach. And I don't care if you buy anything from me today, because that's not the goal of why we're here today. It's to share with you the terms of the industry to make sure that we're on the same page moving forward, and that you are more educated as you move down your path of creating your first or next event or project or product that is going to increase profit in your business or personal lives. That's simple to me. Talking about strategies then, content is the message. Strategies, how are you going to get the message out? It concerns the decision marketers make to help the company satisfy its target market and attain its business and marketing objectives. Compared to a tactic, which is a specific action or deed used to achieve strategic goals and implement strategic plans. Tactics are specific and measurable activities that keep the organization moving toward fulfilling its strategic themes and achieving its desired future. Now, it sounds like I read that because I did. I thought it was important, and I've been reading some of these terms because it's absolutely important to get them right. A lot of people interchange strategies and tactics, even me sometimes, depending on who I'm talking to. But I often use events as a tactic to achieve a marketing strategy in order to achieve an end goal, right? So, for example, while working with the workforce system, I was giving a problem to solve of how do we get more people employed? That's simple. So our strategy then was to create a series of projects or products that would, engage the potential job seeker with the employers who had job opportunities available. Okay, so that was the strategy. And then the tactic was to create a specific tactic. There were many in the strategy effort, but a specific tactic that we moved forward with was creating a job fair. And it was super successful. In fact, we did one. It was so successful, we actually did one for the veteran community, as well as a whole series of them for those who have disabilities. And it was, they were immensely successful because we knew who our audience was. We knew what we wanted to convey to them. We knew how we were going to do it. We knew that the job fair was a way to do so. And in the end, it was hugely successful. And after that, a series of those job fairs were rolled out and are continuing on to this day very successfully. So let's talk about media, because I love the media. They are my friend, right? If I am producing an event, or I have a product, or I have anything that I would want to say, and in this case, I am you, right? You the prospect, you want to get out information about you have a new product. Well, maybe you don't want to do an event because you're new. You don't have a big budget to do X, Y, or Z, or you don't have the toolkit available to you or whatever. The media can be your friend. Earned media, and this is kind of what I'm going on about now, is you don't pay for it. You offer information and you can become an expert, or you are there for the media. You are a resource for them when they're doing a story and they have a quick turnaround time. You could provide some information, some resources, some data, whatever the case may be. That's earned media, again, unpaid. And when you're starting out, when you're creating a new event, or, I'm a co-founder of a not-for-profit. We had no money, believe me, for advertising, marketing, ads, nothing. Everything we did was from scratch, from hard work and from personal relationship building. And so we leveraged the media to help us through our events. So for an example of that was, we had at the Fort Wayne Regional Maker Faire, I am the producer of that show. It doesn't exist anymore, but did it for about 5 years. And we had a race at the event. And in order to get coverage from the media, we invited them to actually race on kids' electric vehicles. And it was so much fun. But what it guaranteed was that those who participated in the race, they brought their cameras with them. So it cost us no money. And we had coverage every single news hour over a 48-hour news cycle. So, and we held the event on Saturday, and our event went on the race on Saturday, and our event went till Saturday evening. And so by having the media there on that Saturday morning, we were getting press throughout the day, and that drove attendance to our event. And it was really great. All of the TV stations came, radio was represented, and newspaper. And again, it was free. We didn't pay for any of that. We generated, probably that alone was probably worth about $50,000 or $60,000 in revenue that we didn't have to, or expense that we didn't have to pay. So that was super, super exciting. Now I've been mentioning some other, the traditional types of media. And I'm a little older, and so I have some experience in traditional advertising, as I've mentioned. You think about the, print, broadcast, outdoor, electronic. Okay, so those are kind of the categories. Print being newspaper, trade magazines, I'm sorry, specialty publications, etc. Print is hard copy, it's old school. But, there are those of us who like old school, who like to pick up that magazine and flip through it, and the beautiful images and the bright color and the nice slick pages, and envision maybe I'm living in that lifestyle through the magazine, etc. Well, that is a good place if you are, let's say it is a lifestyle publication, and I'm selling boats. Well, who wouldn't want to see themselves or think about, I want to be in that boat, in that publication? That's what it's all about. And in crafting the message, either with words or visually, is going to help me, the consumer, be more interested in what you have to say, right? And through your ad. Broadcast. So broadcast is television, radio, in the traditional terms. Then there's outdoor, which might be static or rolling billboards. Like rolling might be like you're seeing now, billboards on the backs of vehicles actually rolling down the road. Static being it's the traditional billboard, outside. And then now they're adding lighting to them. They're adding, offset shapes and things like that to draw your attention, because you have like about 7 words or so on a billboard that can be read as you're driving down the road. And again, back to the science, all of those things like 7 words, there has been a lot of research done about those 7 words or 8 words at the most that people can really read effectively while driving down the road. But that was at one time our only way to advertise in some areas, right? Now we have social media, and everybody has a computer in their hand basically, and you can access a lot of information. But now it's even harder as a marketer and as a company or a person who wants to convey a new message, because now there's all these outlets. Now there's 500 channels to choose from on cable. There's again, all the social media. And some social media doesn't even play into what product or service that you might be offering. So for example, in my case, LinkedIn, it seems to be a good it's a good place to share the information that I'm offering, because it's about, improving profit through events in your business or personal lives. And obviously that is potentially a business message, right? Again, Facebook absolutely makes sense. But there might be some, I'm not sure that Instagram is the right tool for me. I frankly don't think it is, but I'm continuing to learn, and maybe somebody will convince me of that. But the bottom line is that whether you're doing, investing in or hoping to generate earned media through print, broadcast, outdoor, electronic, those are all different ways for you to share whatever your message might be. Then there's the, I said print before in terms of newspaper, trade bags, et cetera. And then there's the print, there's the physical hard copies of things, right? The informational brochures, the poster, the product catalogs, registration forms, quizzes, whatever the case may be, user guides, whatever. Again, all of those things should look alike, whether it's the header on the top of the page and the colors, or it is the, the logo on the outdoor sign, or at the end of the television commercial, or, in the newspaper ad. Consistency from each media outlet is super important, because that, again, is all a reflection of your brand. Then we get into things like promotional items. So those are branded items for giveaway. So anything from, I'm just looking real quick here, I don't see anything. Well, here's one from Sage, right? So in this particular case, Sage branded their sticky notepads that they sent to us in advance of a 3-day conference on virtual, producing virtual events. And this was something that a tool they wanted us to use in the conference or over the 3-day virtual event. And this now sits on, you saw me, sorry, listeners, the viewers saw me pull it from, the side of my desk, because that's where it sits as I want to, write down notes as they come to me, right? But in all of this, all this time, I'm looking down and I'm seeing their name, right? So that's a branded promotional item. And I love those things. I mean, I go to trade shows, and I'm not the person that takes the bag and goes and collects every single thing, but I definitely am going to go around and check it out. And especially if it's a company that I'm interested in doing business with, that's the thing that I'll take. Is I won't take their print, I won't take all their expensive stuff, but I'll take that little branded item, because I'll use it in the future, and it will remind me of them, and I'll be able to reach, I'll be able to remember who they are and reach out to them. And that's the purpose of the expense of the promotional item. Other things, I don't know if I mentioned coupons or not, but that might be considered a promotional item as well, whether it's an actual physical, printed coupon, or it's a digital coupon with a promo code for, for discounting at shopping cart time, things like that. Also wanted to share with you just some basics about what the market looks like today, right? You've heard these terms before, but I went and I've actually did a little research. Wanted to share with you kind of the numbers as they stand today. And most of these numbers are from the 2019 census. Some of them are actually from the 22 census, but I couldn't track all the data from one census year. So anyway, though, so baby boomers. By the way, this is generational marketing, right? When you talk about who are you trying to reach, I call them age sets or potential customer age sets. So the baby boomer, born 1946 to 1964, now 58 to 76 years old, of which there are about 76.4 million of those folks in the United States today. If you have a product that you are selling to seniors, well, there's your beginning of your universe. Now, not every senior is going to need your product. Then you start narrowing. And then not every senior is going to see your product from across the country. Then you start narrowing. And then all of a sudden, oh, here's the pipeline. Now, here are the people that really are going to be interested in buying from you. And that starts with, who am I talking to? You know, what have I got to offer? Who am I talking to? And what change do I want to make after they've done business with me, right? The next potential customer age set is Generation X, Gen X, right? In my world, that's probably going to be the folks that I'll serve most frequently. Who knows though? I don't know, and I won't plan that. That's just kind of my gut assumption at this time. And I'll continue to do the research and evolve my products and messaging. And you know, as I learn, as I get feedback from customers as we move forward. But Gen X, born 1965 to 1980, now 45 to 57 years of age, of which there are 65.2 million in the United States today. These are big numbers, right? Big numbers. Millennials, born 1981 to 1996. They are now 26 to 44 years old, of which there are 72.1 million here in the United States. Millennials on a global stage represent 1.8 billion people. That's 1.8 billion people, or 23% of the global population. If you're thinking about creating new products, think about millennials, because there is just a big chunk of folks who are coming up in the market, right? Baby boomers, I mean, no offense, baby boomers, we love you. I'm a boomer, frankly, but we're aging out. We are not the leaders of what is coming in terms of consumerism, right? It's the millennials and Gen X. Gen X are those born 1997 to 2013. They're now 9 to 24 years old, and there are 68.2 million of them, right? So in the boomers, there's like, a 22 years age, 58 to 76 million. Gen X, there's what, 12 years, 45 to 57 years old, 65 million. Millennials, 26 to 44 years old, so 18 years in that span, 72 million. And then you get to the Gen Z, and now you're talking about 13 years of window, right? 9 to 24, and 68 million people. So hopefully those stats can give you a little bit of help as you're thinking about, who I'm going to serve and how I'm going to get to them. I do want to share a couple of fun communication tips as well today. Treat others as you would have them treat you. So simple, just like words matter, but it is so, as I continue to do training and train other people, I can't say enough how important I take words. Words can build people up. They can tear people down. They can offer inspiration and motivation. They can create anxiety. Just treat others as you would have them treat you. And if you are honest in who you are and what you're offering, and you treat your guests the same way you want to be treated, you will have nothing but success. Super simple, just a reminder. Another is save early and often. When you're creating documents, especially in the digital world, I mean, I am challenged digitally. There is tech and I do not work. And so, I mean, even just a week ago, I was actually working on a document and I thought I had saved it, and I lost the documents. I know it's so simple, but, and is it going to be your #1 event success story strategy? No, but save early and often. And think twice before hitting send. How many of us have sent that message? We're like, oh, I forgot that last piece, or maybe I shouldn't have said what I said. Anyway, just some fun tips is, in terms of communication, since that is basically the theme of today. Terms, tips about communication, the communication industry, whether you're in marketing or development, raising money, whether in public relations, conveying your message to others, etc. So that's really it for me today, but definitely want your feedback on the show. And we hope that you do want more information about how Exit Zero can help you get the edge by creating events from concept to execution, or or consulting with you to make your event better, or helping you, the DIY strategy, helping you learn how to create your own business or personal event outcomes, which will be available in products moving forward, not here just in the podcast, but again, I have a series of modules coming on the art and science of profitable and productive event management that you'll be able to watch on your own and learn at your own pace and rewind, etc. So I'm working on that, doing some customer input right now. I'd love to hear your thoughts about things you'd like to learn about. So yeah, if you or someone you know wants to grow event revenue or membership or sales or be more profitable in some other way, then please visit businesseventpro.com. And because there's definitely more coming down the pike, and you can get a sense of the types of projects that we've done and all kinds of cool stuff. But I talked about some things that are coming. One is also a live virtual event that we'll be sharing about here in the next couple of weeks. We do have another show scheduled next Wednesday, so tune back in and check us out. Again, you can find out each week's episode will be available at businesseventpro.com. And then if you want to go back and play back some older ones, those are going to be available on our YouTube channel at Applegate's Edge. So please check us out there, subscribe. Again, let us know what we can do for you. I am here for you, and wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the chance to help people and grow their success stories, whether it's their first event, their next event, or some other business problem that you want to solve. We'd love to hear from you here at Exit Zero. So again, thanks so much for joining us today at Applegate's EDGEcast. Join us next week. I should have a guest on next week, but I'm not going to tell you what, because it's kind of exciting and I'm putting the show together. I got to get everything, all the T's crossed first. But thanks so much for your time. And just remember, strategic intention matters. Ciao for now. Thanks.